Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Since Chief Justice of India DY Chandrachud took over the reins of the Supreme Court, his constant vision has been to make the judiciary more inclusive and accessible to not only the general public but also the ones with special needs as well. For the first time in televised interview, Chief Justice of India DY Chandrachud opens up about this project to CNN News 18's legal correspondent Anany Bhatnagar. Take a look at that exclusive conversation.
Definitely, it is a process that is giving hopes to a lot of people. The government too has sanctioned almost 800 crores for the expansion at the topmost of the country. What would be the future of more accessible Supreme Court building, and when this expansion happens, what more steps are in mind which are yet to come out in the operation for that?
In designing the new building which we are about to commence construction of, the object has always been to provide stakeholder access. The most important stakeholder in the legal profession is the litigant who comes to court with their grievances, and people come from near and far to the Supreme Court. So first and foremost, we want to create facilities within the new building. While we are creating a futuristic building which will be good for the next 75 or 100 years, the building which will be completely technology enabled and technology friendly, but we are trying to use technology so as to make life easier for citizens in terms of providing information about the services which we provide, access to different legal services that we give to our citizens. We are using artificial intelligence to provide access to citizens, information about the work which we do. So this building in that sense is going to be a symbol of an emerging India and an emerging court system in India in terms of providing proper access to different segments who typically have been denied access. Very recently, going away from the topic a little bit for a moment, we designated as senior counsel 12 women advocates. Right from independence until 2024, the total number of advocates who are designated as seniors among women were just about 12 or 13. So in the month of February, we have designated in one go the equivalent of what has been designated between 1950 and 2024. I've been very actively engaged with the Secretary General of the Supreme Court to employ, I shouldn't call them victims, but people who have suffered, women who have suffered acid attacks. And the idea of doing that really is to give these individuals a sense of dignity and self-worth in demonstrating their ability to contribute as equal partners in the workplace. And very soon I'm sure we'll be having the first set of people who are survivors of acid attacks to join the Supreme Court. And I hope that in doing so, we give a very strong message to the rest of society. One last point which I'd like to mention is that the Supreme Court is in that sense a mentor to the high courts and the district courts. We do not have administrative control over the high courts because we are a federal nation, but very often the high courts follow us in the work which we do. And every time we take any of these initiatives, I write to the Chief Justices and request to him to adopt at least some of these initiatives, tailor-make them to their own conditions and cultures in the states, but to follow us, and a lot of high courts are doing that. So for instance, we've been training visually impaired court staff. Over 500 people across India in the high courts and the district judiciary have been employed who suffer from visual impairment. Now there's so many new facilities on the internet, screen reader access, AI assisted tools, which are available to people with visual impairments. So we've done this as part of our mission in the E-Committee of the Supreme Court to go across the country, visit their places of work or their states in regional conferences, and to have training for these people so that they have a sense of self-worth. They're not just put in our court complexes to comply with the mandate of the RPWD Act of 2016, but to effectively give them a sense of dignity in our workplaces, so that we send a message across society that we are an equal opportunity employer in the true sense of the term.